I turned on my mic, Andrew. All right, welcome back, you guys. Good to see you. We're gonna before we approve the minutes, I'd like to have the people that weren't here yesterday introduce themselves, please. Yes, ma'am.
There you go. So I'm Trisha Breeding.
And a little background.
Oh, I worked at West Minico. Been there this is my second year. Did Paul for 15, I think.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome. And do we have somebody else? Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not at
So,
the table.
do we have a scribe today? Maren, are you scribing today? Okay, thank you. Okay.
I am too. See? And I've got the magic marker.
Perfect.
Okay.
Sarah, go ahead.
Sarah Palayo, Mount Harrison High School.
Yay. Yeah. Okay. Glad to see everybody. Before we begin, also, I've been asked to make sure that we decide on a time so that we can
Hang on just a minute.
be out of here maybe on a timely manner. Like we were last night. We did really well, I thought. So, do we have a motion? Is that how we have to do it?
Yeah. A motion to for some. Yeah. Let's do
Yep.
that. Just to
Anybody have a motion for time? I don't believe I'm the one that can do that, can I?
no, they have to do it.
Come on, you guys.
Somebody.
Come on, you guys.
I move 7:30.
Thank you.
Second.
I'll second it.
Okay. All right. Everybody approve? Do we thumbs up or do we agree? Vote on it. I think it's unanimous. 7:30 it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Now let me get the agendas in case they need it. Okay? Because they don't know. Do you guys want? I went ahead and did an agenda. I mean, she's following. Does anybody want one? She's just going to follow right down on it. It's on board book too. Just let me know. Do you guys want one? Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. You're in your corner. Thank you. Okay.
All right. Also, before we begin on the interests and the options, it's I've been asked to see if we can move the number 3 salaries and benefits up to basically switch 2 and 3. Is that what?
Well, okay. So
Go ahead.
go ahead. You do it. We'll need a motion to change the agenda just because Daryl has to leave early.
That's right.
And so if we talk about salaries and benefits, he needs to be here. So I didn't know that till after I'd posted the agenda. I'm sorry. So
And I'll just add, we probably need to add it as an interest. I mean, that's one of the things we have to negotiate is salary. And then we didn't list it yesterday, but it's required.
Okay, so I believe we need a motion
to move it to number 2.
To move salaries and benefits to number 2 to switch the.
I would think we would need to add it as an interest before we can
move it. Okay. All right.
Okay. No, we just do it all. Okay. Okay. Now I got it. Okay. Hang on. Interests. I'm gonna do that. It's number D, isn't it? Benefits. Okay. Agreed by team to add as an interest. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So now we go on to a motion
To move it to number 2.
to move salaries and benefits.
Make a motion to move salaries and benefits to number 2.
Oops. Now we need a second. Okay, Angela seconded it.
My machine's acting up.
Okay. So we begin.
Motion carried. Okay.
How do we want to go about?
Oops, sorry. I would like to make a motion
A motion?
to delete the sick leave bank from the interest.
Okay. Okay. Hang on. Let me get back up there.
Okay, a motion has been.
A motion to delete sick leave bank. Okay.
Do we have a second for that motion, or do we need to discuss it first?
Even if they all agree to it, you don't.
Can I
Okay.
make a comment? This is my first time doing all this. I'm just trying to understand the process. But my memory from yesterday, somebody said everybody's
I see what you're saying.
was it you? Everybody's allowed to put something up there. There's no bad interest or something like that, and only the person who put it on there can strike something.
That's Josh.
I recall that from yesterday, so
That's
just
Josh.
clarification if that's
Okay.
okay.
Well,
Convince me, Lauren, because I went home and thought about
I
this.
have a question also.
Okay, wait.
Come on,
Wait a
here.
minute. Well, the hair's going to start sticking up early. I'm sorry. Hang on just a minute here. Okay. All right. On the options?
I just have a question.
Okay. Question.
So if something is on the interest, does it mean we have to go through the process and everything? Because I think it could still be an interest that maybe we just don't go into this year.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's true.
Will you tell me more, anyways?
Yes. So the sick leave bank is in policy. It is in the master agreement also, and there's just a lot of stuff with the sick leave bank and FMLA. I kind of went through all of that today, and my head was spinning by the time I got done with FMLA. So, since it's policy, we can't negotiate policy. So there's no point in us participating in a conversation about it because we can't negotiate it. Policy is decided by the school board.
I'll wait for them to get done talking.
Only 3 days can be donated.
So I was kind of bothered last night by some of the things that you said, like not that you made me mad, but I'm gonna go read those policies, and so I was really like, okay, maybe we do need to talk about that. So I'll take it off if we can, if we can agree to have a conversation about how to best make that work for the people who work here, because those are donated days that belongs to the people who work here, and I think that they should have voice in what that looks like. And you're absolutely valid your conversation, but I guess we can't negotiate it. So can we have a conversation about that later?
We can have a conversation about it. We can even have a conversation about it now,
Okay.
as long as everybody understands that it's just a conversation. It doesn't have any force of anything other than as a conversation, and to maybe kind of let it's individuals excuse me, who deal with that all the time, and building admin, and we don't necessarily know we definitely don't know who gets stuff from the sick leave bank and who doesn't, but you're right. There's for the teachers, and then there's the classified part too. So maybe it is time to revisit that in a conversation, because we've had it sort of the same way for a long time. I'm done.
Okay.
So you want me to decide? I guess, can we have a conversation about that, Mr. Larson, later? It doesn't have to be today. I'll take it off if we can. Well, Well, again, I don't think it hurts to leave it on there personally and have a discussion. If we get to it and then decide not to, so be it. Or we say, hey, the discussion is, we talked briefly and we're going to revisit it at some time, or through policy review, or whatever we decide. That's fine as well.
That does make sense. Okay. All right. So we need to proceed now to interest and options.
Salaries
salaries and benefits. I'm looking at this. I didn't adjust my agenda. Okay, salaries and benefits.
I guess I'll throw something out. Well, let's see. It needs to be an option.
Oh no, hang on. Options for salaries and benefits. Okay, got it.
I'd propose that we move all employees their qualifying step on the career ladder.
And that was sponsors.
Did you want me to put the word certificated in there? Or just all employees?
I mean, this can be employee. Really, we're negotiating for certificated staff, but the intention is to move everybody.
That okay?
That's good. Okay. Any more options
I
to
have an
add to
option.
that? Sarah?
I would like to have a discussion about issuing a one-time stipend to employees as a gesture of appreciation and gratitude for their time here in the district as from the 2 years ago that we froze. Does that make sense? Am I saying that correctly? 2 years ago, we had to have a freeze, and we have incredible employees here that are committed to their students, to their positions, and because we are in a better place in our budget, I think it would be appropriate. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Are you talking about the loyalty bonus?
Nope.
In addition to a loyalty bonus.
Side. I think more of a side to from it, like it doesn't relate anything to.
Across the board, as a stipend across the board. Thank you.
So to all employees.
All employees, yes.
I guess I don't understand. Should we still in a picture? This is my first time putting an option up. In addition to the stuff
Oh man. I mean, this had at this time. Yeah. So my thought in this option was to kind of help employees recover what we.
Sarah, are you talking in the mic? Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I apologize. So my, and I don't know if this has to be listed in the option, but when we're going to discuss this and whatnot, this is where my mind is when we froze everybody 2 years ago, we could have had employees like bail out. And I don't know if I'm speaking to this motion now and I'm not appropriate. So if I'm out of order, just let me know. But I want to say that we can offer this one-time stipend to help them recover what was lost in that stipend or in that freeze 2 years ago. So I don't know if that needs to be on there or if that covers it enough, but that's the intention of why I want that option on there.
I've got it in my minutes.
That's okay?
Yeah, I've got it.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Continuing on, anyone else with options? Okay, I'm counting in my head for wait time. Okay. Am I hearing no more options then? Are we comfortable with what's up there? Okay, we're going to move on then to, I believe it's, yes, ma'am.
Daryl, do you have a scattergram to show us?
Okay, so we still have
Placements, what we have. Okay, so let me attempt to do.
We have one that's just everybody all together, not broken out by school.
And this is what I've got that was provided. So the way I've got it broken out.
Yeah, like I can see that.
Sorry, getting totals. Okay, so this is all off of FTEs or full-time employments. I'll zoom it in just a second, sorry. Okay. It's a lot of data, sorry, apologies. This is our current placements based off of FTE, right? So full-time employment factors how they are. We have it broken down by their placement on the salary schedule, R1, R2, R3, up to AP5, with as well as their education placement, base salary, bachelor's plus 24, or the master's, right? With this, we have a total. Good grief, sorry. Total of 221 FTE currently out of general fund. This is just general fund staff. Okay, total staff. I don't have it on this scattergram. I have it on a different file. But general fund staff right here is the 221. Certified, correct? Certified staff only is all we're looking at. So that's your 221 FTE. With that, it's showing that we'll have, or we currently have 12.8 up to 11, your different placements of where they are of R1, R2, P1, P2, so on and so forth. With the scattergram, we did it a step of movement, everybody moving along the salary schedule, moving from R1 to R2, R2 to R3, so on and so forth. With this, we are running under the assumption of withdrawing the requirements or everybody meeting the requirements to progress onto the P1 or AP1, right? Because you have to meet the different standards to meet those requirements. So we have everybody moving in that sense. Not everybody truly will, but that allows us to make sure we have enough budgeted for those that will, and those that don't will come in at a lower rank and give us a little bit of area for wiggle room. In that same instance, we are not doing any adjustments for education. Okay, education is still the same flat line. The assumption is that we will be able to use the differentials between your P5 to AP1 rung, the number of staff that don't meet that requirement. That offset will be able to offset the differentials of education movement. This far in the game, or this early in the game, it's really a lot of shooting in the dark, and so covering your bases of being conservative by estimating high in some areas and low in others, and then netting them out, and hopefully you're coming in pretty close and we true it up in the end.
Can I ask a question? Okay, so R1 through P5, for my understanding, is general fund. Is that
All of these 221 on here are all general fund. We have another, I want to say it's maybe 15 to 20 FTE that are paid out of federal funds, or so it'll be like your special ed funds, your federal programs. That would be the only ones. None of the other funds pay for any certified staff.
so? The advanced professionals 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's additional funding that's given by the state to the districts for those. Is that
It's just
correct?
the difference of your salary schedule. So if we look at just the salary schedule alone, you have the different rates, right, for their placement.
Which is
R1
what we do.
down through AP1 and AP5.
Mhm.
You get the additional 2,000 or 3,500 based off the education factor, right? So that's the advancement left to right. As of right now, I have nothing impeding the downward movement on the salary schedule. Normally, moving to an R3 to a P1, they have to have a certain number of years of teaching, correct me if I'm wrong, Gene, and have a certification, right? They have to have their actual endorsement license for that. For your movement from P5 to AP1, amount of leadership, number of years teaching, your evaluations, those criteria you've got to make sure you've got to make that advancement. So as of right now, we have, oh, good grief. P5s, I have 41 FTE sitting at a P5 currently.
Okay, so that again, P5 to 10.
41 FTE.
Okay.
When we move forward, I moved all of those up to the AP1, right? They all advanced. Not all 41 will truly meet the requirements to advance to an AP1, right? And so that differential of moving between 60,000 to 64,000, that differential there of those that do or don't move will be the pieces that I can use to offset the people that got a bachelor's plus 24 or got their master's or other areas in that essence.
Okay.
Because I'm not factoring both sides, I'm only factoring one side and running with that as assumptions.
Okay, so I get that piece. I guess I just, for my own understanding, is the employees that are in AP 1, 2, 3, and 4. There is additional funds that come from the state to the district to cover that, right?
The state funds all of the salaries for these, no matter where they're at on that salary schedule. They fund it. but it's funded at an average, right? Roughly, they fund about 80% of an employee's salary. 80% of their salary and benefit. The other 20% needs to be picked up through the discretionary line items. So no matter where the employee falls on the salary schedule, the state does provide funding for general fund employees. So these 221 will receive state funding for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're okay. I need to figure out how I want to ask my question, but I'm checking everything that you're saying. So thank you.
So back in January, the State Department, in looking at salary-based apportionment, had instructional staff at 202.97 FTE, and I think you said you figured 220.
220 just is instructional and pupil service staff. It's all
Okay.
all combined.
Okay. Well, that would be 217 on the State Department chart.
This is pulled from the February 15th payment.
No, January 15th.
Okay.
This year for evaluations, we have 250 minus admin. That doesn't count admin.
As of our funding that we received, February 15th is when they finalize funding, finalize our FTE, our support units. This is where our support units came in at a protected support unit of 198.80 is our support units. On that, they had an average, sorry, excuse me, not average. Let's go for, you were saying the staffing.
Right.
So actual staff, 214 instructional plus another 14 pupil service for a total of 228.9.
Okay. And that was February 15th, right?
February 15th. This is the one that they actually fund us off of.
Okay.
But then, Sarah, for your question to dive in a little bit deeper, right here, this average salary, this is what they give us per FTE. So for instructional staff, they give us 62,000 per FTE. Sorry, a lot of numbers.
Isn't our district average 63,000?
Not for this current fiscal year.
No, I mean just like when we do it, not when the state does it.
Mm-hmm.
There was somewhere I read 63, and I don't remember where, because I've looked at a lot of stuff in the last week.
I'm not certain on that, because the average changes every year based off of where your
Right.
teachers are, your spread.
Will you finish your thought, please?
Yeah, sorry.
Right? Okay.
No, you're good. So we get that 62,000 per FTE, right? But that does not mean that it funds everybody. For someone in our R1, great, we're funded and we have a little bit excess there to help fund a higher end. But for someone that's on an AP5, you're 12 grand short,
Yes.
right? And so it's that hit and miss on both sides.
Okay. Thank you. That's kind of where I was trying to see.
We have the same scenario when it comes to benefits. They give us just an allotment of it, and it's again based off of averages and things like that. And so again, when I ran the numbers based off of next year's projected or support units, the projected revenues only cover 80% of the salaries and benefits. The other 20% would be coming from our discretionary line items. Yeah, it's usually the same thing. The issue we have this year is there was no increase to your discretionary line items. So salaries and benefits, they covered that increase. So it's still 80% of that, but they didn't increase the discretionary side to help cover the 20. So costs increased, but the revenue did not. Any other questions in this area?
Yep. Any more questions? That's a good one. Thank you, Daryl.
Can I ask a clarifying question on option B?
You can try.
One-time stipend is in a dollar stipend, or a one like meaning $1, or a stipend like $1,000. I mean, that would be helpful to know.
I appreciate the clarifying question. In my mind, yes, there has to be a dollar assigned to it. Having Daryl talk a little bit about this and my questions about trying to understand like how much money is coming from the state, how much are we funding teachers, and then where our employees are at from this side to this other side. I need to understand that in order to put that dollar amount there. I think before I could put a number to it, I would have to ask for a caucus if that's appropriate at this time to kind of get with others that have a little bit more experience with this than me. Again, you guys, I was so excited yesterday when we left here with those 6 days. Like this just feels like a good working team, and I joked with my husband that I almost want to have another baby. I can't have another baby, but I thought, wow. I mean, it just feels good that we're doing stuff that's good for everyone in our district. And so my thought with this is like 2 years ago, having that freeze, I mean, I was having a senior. It's, yeah, it's a financial like, oh. And so my thought is if we just put a little bit of money back to our employees for sticking around, doing the good stuff that they do, like that's a great thing to be able to offer. So I just wanted to explore that. If I could caucus and talk with my people, maybe they could help me come up with a number that's reasonable. I think that I could then answer your question. I'm just not experienced enough.
I just want to make one comment before you go into caucus. Before you tell me how much time you need, just remind yourselves about the standards and the ground rules as you're just making those discussions. I just want to put that out.
Did we decide when we're leaving?
Okay.
Did we decide? Did they say 7:30? I didn't listen. Okay, sorry.
At least you were honest about that.
I'm not sure what
You knew somebody else.
If I can get an email of what those standards are, then I will make sure and do my part to make sure we're doing this right.
And I have a copy right here.
I'll just take a picture with my phone, if that's okay.
Whatever you want to do.
And then if we can.
What I would do also is give you guys a 2-minute warning. That's what I was trying to do yesterday.
Yeah.
The time keeps going when I go to 2 minutes. It doesn't stop. So just, I will knock on the door. That'll be your 2-minute warning.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you for letting me caucus with the group. I always tell my husband I'm a business teacher. I'm not an accounting teacher, so I always need to make sure I have some people help me with numbers and stuff like that. I'd like to start off by saying that with great appreciation to the district's stewardship, we've been able to recover some money into savings, and that's a good thing. In 2024 and 2025, that's the year that I was talking about where we took the freeze. We had to cut positions and we had to take on additional work across the board. Classified, certificated, no, am I saying it right? Yeah, certificated administrators, all hands on deck. And that's the great thing about being a part of Minidoka County School District is you can count on everybody. So with that being said, we think that this one-time stipend to all employees is appropriate, and we would like to submit that stipend be for the amount of $1,000. If you take the money that came in from the state at 2 million, or excuse me, I apologize, let me correct myself, 12 million that came in, 11 million is what was spent, and I'm very careful about this because I may be getting it wrong. That would leave roughly $467,000. And so if you took that, there's around 2,103. And so we're not even trying to say to deplete that amount by any means. We're saying just make it an even 1,000 for every employee in our district.
And our total number of employees, Daryl?
Currently about 550, 555. That's classified.
Yeah.
How many?
550, 555.
Okay. Okay, so
And
can I?
okay. Hey, Marin, could I? Oh, you did. Never mind. My blind eyes cannot see your. Yep, you did. Thank you.
Got it.
Okay. Any more options, discussion, comments?
I'm a little curious. So,
Okay.
my school lost 2 people this year. It looks a little odd that we're like so like that could have covered their salary. Can you help me with that?
Do I speak to that, or is it open to anybody?
I believe so. Yes. Yeah.
Agreed. My school is the school that is absorbing the Minidoka Junior High, and so it does feel weird. Business teacher. It's all about marketing and communication, and I think that we definitely need to be doing a better job about that. In my building, I am a CTE teacher, and so my students are afforded additional resources that other classrooms do not get. And that is always like well, how come they get to do that? How come they have that? And that is always the conversation of, well, I'm a CTE teacher, so my funds go for this. I'm a CTE teacher, so I could take a bus to take them to go to the humanitarian center, those types of things. And so I 1,000% agree with you. And that's why I think it's only fair that we take this $1,000, which is much less than what the amount that's was not spent that year. I think it's fair that we take that and give it to everyone across the board. I know it still stings. It stung the year that we cut positions. It stung the year that we had to take the freeze, and it stings even now that we are still doing more with. We're all wearing many hats, and I think that this is just a way to say we appreciate you. We know this is a lot. Thank you.
Psychologically, when people start focusing in on the negatives, the human brain is designed to always default to the negative and always see the negative. And so it takes a great deal of self discipline to retrain your brain to default to the positive. And I think that year, 24, 25, where, so many things that none of us like happened, um, that just like switched everybody's brain, even the most positive people, right back to that negative default. And so now when we talk about anything, really, our brains are like boom, twisted right back to that negative default. So we probably need to, figure out more of the positive and why we should do this and what benefit it would bring to employees, especially in this time where grocery and gas prices have gone up so much. I went to fill up my truck the other night and I went to the cheapest place I could find. And I still had a quarter of a tank. And the gas station I was at, it stops filling up your vehicle when you hit $100. I got up to 3/4 of a tank and it stopped. That really hit hard because that means next month I've got to cut a week's use out of my vehicle because I only have 3/4 of a tank. So that's on one side and then another side's doing other things. And I think it's that way for probably most people. And so, if we can kind of like flip around to see, okay, here are all these positive things. Here's all the people who have helped with all these positive things, even when times were extremely difficult. What can we do? What can we do to thank people? How can we show gratitude? There's been a mountain of research showing that students who practice gratitude get higher grades and higher test scores. So we need to do the same thing. So I'm just going to ask you, kind of think about where's your brain been at, and how can you flip it back to the gratitude section and how we're going to show that. Now, Jamie brought us cookies yesterday. That was gratitude I really appreciated. So, what more can we do? And I think that's a lot of what Sarah's trying to get at is we have all these people who've worked so hard, us included. Now, what are we going to do for them?
If I may, the standards piece about being fiscally responsible. That's where that number comes in from, because again, it's less than what's left over, and so recognizing that we have that duty, and out of I mean, recognition for how it was handled, the steward, just making sure that we were being conservative as was required, and now not just holding on to it because it's there, but saying, okay, we've recovered, we're making progress, and thank you for sticking through this. Because yeah, we have lots of talented teachers in this district, and there are places where they could go, leave education altogether and make more money. It's not about money for some of us. It's about what we can give back to our students. It's the, oh my gosh, I've taken this class 3 times and I didn't get it, but I got it now. Thank you. And they show up with an apple. You know, that's what it is.
I was like, do we have money for staffing that we didn't spend on staffing?
Daryl, correct me. I think for this year we had like a $1.4 million deficit budget. So revenues didn't equal, at least budgeting, the revenues didn't equal expenditures. Is that correct about that?
It's not quite the 1.4 we've had. Some differences in our revenues that came in on that end, but honestly, the numbers that you gave Sarah, sorry, I truly couldn't follow where that was coming from. In all honesty.
So,
Oh, you went green on me, and now I will say it again, business teacher, not accounting. So my understanding from what we were talking about earlier is we have this amount of money that comes in from the state on our, yes, thank you. And so because of the freeze, because of the employees that we had to cut, there was some money there that did not then have to be paid out. It wasn't spent, right? So my thoughts were what came in and what was actually spent. That number, 467,000. Is that wrong? Can you tell me from the 2024, 2025 year, what that number was? Okay. Sorry, say again?
Is what you're looking for in the 24, 25?
What did not get spent?
I guess my thoughts just real quickly are we did spend it because the next year, even though we only got 1 year's worth, 1 extra year's worth of fund, we gave 2 jumps the next year, 2 steps. So we did spend that I think what you're trying to like the saved money that
Yeah,
you're calling it.
I see that we would have spent that, but we also would have been funded that next year
But
money
only 1 step, and then we spent 2 years worth.
because it was an extra jump.
So,
As far as funding wise, like if you're going for funding that would be there associated to that time frame, you're looking at fund balance is what you're looking at. Right? If you're looking at what's in the fund balance, you'd be pulling from your savings from your fund balance. If you're looking at current year amounts that are left over or available, and salaries and benefits as of right now. We have $157,000 left, but not all stipends have been submitted yet.
Can we caucus?
Yes, ma'am. You sure can. How long do you think you may need?
10.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Let's do it.
What?
Oh, wow. What did I just do?
Drinking cold pop.
Okay. We need to continue with discussions about the option. Are we just, we're really talking about B, correct? Yeah. Discussion questions.
So, one thing that we kind of thought about is that we just passed a levy, right? We just went out to our community and said, hey, like, we really desperately need money. Like, we're like the state of Idaho has been cutting us. We really need to pass this levy. And luckily, everyone came out and we were able to get it passed. Our concern is that what is that going to look like that we just asked all of these people to pass this levy, raise your taxes or whatever, and then here we're going to give it as a bonus, right? Now, we're not using that levy money to give bonuses, but are people going to understand that? No, the perception is going to look like you just passed the levy and now everyone gets a bonus. Like, I don't know that perception is going to go over very well. So that's just a thought.
Yeah, agreed. Hands down. I think that is definitely a legitimate concern and a reality. I say that this over and over again. It takes a village, and we have a great village here. You had lots of teachers and our family members talking about the levy this time because the last time it didn't pass, and it was like, you guys, I need this for my classroom. I need this for my school. I need this for my district. And we did that. We as a district went out there and pushed and pushed and pushed. And so I think it kind of goes back to what I was saying to Josh. We have to just communicate that. It's the celebration of, hey, this is the levy money that came in. This is what we did with your levy money. Thank you, Minidoka County, for voting for that. And you're just constantly pushing that, reminding, like Marin said, it's we tend to go negative. And so we have to just sell it with as much positivity every time we spend those dollars from the levy to point out and say, thank you for your support, Minidoka County. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's not the best answer, but that's how you do this.
So my other thought too was on, so you're saying the gratitude, we want to show gratitude by giving money. I'm just curious. I have a unique experience of working in an elementary and middle, and to see how teachers, like the difference between all of it. I know in an elementary, when you lose a teacher and your class sizes go up, it stresses everyone. Like that stress that you're going to be with those same kids, So you're saying, to show gratitude, give us all $1,000. Well, somebody else might say, to show gratitude, give us all back a couple teachers, right? With that money, we would like a couple more teachers in the building. We would like our class sizes. We would not in the secondary. We would not have to teach 5 different preps because we don't, can't get a teacher, to cover that one we've lost. And so, I'm just curious if other teachers would say, we don't want that. We want the people back, and that would actually show us gratitude, right? More than a bonus would.
I feel like I'm taking up too much space. Am I okay to keep talking?
Yes, you are.
I love discussion. I think it's important to talk about the hard things because they never get fixed unless you do. And so, like some things that come to my mind is reduce student enrollment. Naturally, we have to figure out a way to fix that. And so, unfortunately, a part of that is why we're in the boat that we're in. And then there's attrition. We're going to have some colleagues retire. We get to shuffle some people around, and we get to be a little bit more creative. And I think that's just a part of the world that we live in. And so, do I want to have another colleague by my side? Always. Yes, 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 please. But sometimes that's not possible. This very much could be possible. Is possible.
Do we have a budget surplus? Or Daryl left, didn't he?
Yeah.
Never mind.
In the talks that we've had regarding the budget, we're going to have a deficit budget again.
Budget for next year or this year?
Yeah.
For this year?
For the upcoming year.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't know if you follow what the state, like the state stuff, right? So the state did not, luckily they preserved the budget and it didn't decrease, but a not an increase is actually a decrease, if that makes sense. So essentially all the schools across Idaho are taking hits, you know, in their budgets. It's not just us, like, and that's coming from our legislation this year. So.
And we did put, I guess, tentatively penciled in, it hasn't gone to the board yet for approval, but we penciled in a decrease in enrollment again. So then that takes off, just because we didn't want to get caught in the same situation that we were in this year. We budgeted for this, our enrollment drops, now we only got that. And so we've budgeted for a decrease.
Yeah, it's definitely been the reality of my career, of our careers, that the state never funds public education to its true cost. Like, that's unfortunately where we live. And again, going back to the comment about the community, it takes a village, the levy that we had to have, I think that that's just our reality of where we live. I had something on my mind and now I lost it. You're great. I wanted to date with you some more, but just not right now.
Okay. From options, do we go to combinations, or there's only two options up there? So, frankly, I'm not sure. Do we vote?
They can do A or B, or they can just do A, or they can just do B. I mean,
are we comfortable with that? Are we finished with discussing? And do you feel like we can do that right now? That's up to you guys. I'm just pointing things out because it is 6 o'clock.
So you're asking, you would want to vote on these? Is that what you're
I am asking that, and I'm making sure that it's an appropriate question for me to do.
If we don't have any more discussion about it, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Yeah.
do you want to do
Is everybody
combinations,
agreed on
or
that?
you just want to vote on the options?
Do we want any I mean, there's only two options, so.
Okay, so let me
Right?
change this. I have to put in.
Let's see.
Vote.
Are you a math teacher? You're better at that than me.
Okay, I just put on there. You guys agreed to only vote on the options, not the
Okay.
combinations.
Are you okay? We all agreed on
Is
that,
that
yes?
okay? Okay.
If
Well,
we
just
want a combination, we can.
But if you vote on one, then you vote on the other.
I do believe that is correct. But this is new to me, so I'm still,
The third option is they're together.
I suppose
B,
so.
A, B, or none.
If that's what you'd like to
So
do.
Sarah said she would like to do a combination, so I think we let her.
Okay, then we
So
do that.
combination.
There you go.
Mhm.
Okay.
Then
Got
let's
it.
move on.
I appreciate that. I would like to propose a third option, or
Oh,
option
You want
C.
a combination?
Combination.
Combination
No.
or options together?
So we're doing combinations.
So
we need
with-
another paper.
Yep,
Combination.
you're right, Nicole. Then we need another paper for combination.
Combination A plus B.
We did this.
Okay, number one.
One tab, another.
A and B, Sarah. Is that what you want? You got it.
You got it. You're
I
tall.
can be helpful.
You're tall.
Don't put that so high I can't reach it.
Okay.
Ashley forgets she's tall.
That's why I said you're tall. You could do it.
Okay. A and B. Sarah.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else want to add any more combinations?
Hey,
Okay.
Just eight.
That's what I was wondering. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we
And then
really
I'd like
did
to
meet
add
this.
B. B.
Let's be. Okay.
I would like to add combination B.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and move on so that Marin can read. Would you be willing to read combinations?
Sure. So, combination one, move all employees to their next qualified step. Plus B, issue a one-time stipend to all employees in appreciation for their time here, an across-the-board stipend of about $1,000.
All right.
Okay, got a question though. For that stipend, are you talking next year's employees or are you talking all of this year's employees getting that before the end of the year?
Well, we are negotiating for next year.
So it would be all next year's employees, correct?
The team here at the table.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So those people. That was awesome. Well, good clarification. Yes.
That's okay.
I have a question about that. So, if this happened, okay, since it would be for next year, would that go also to people who weren't here to do the hard work?
If they're hired.
Because
I guess I would read it as we're saying that option says all employees. So the employee,
in appreciation for their time here, if they're new, they don't have any time here.
okay, so can I argue against you?
Sure.
Okay. So what Sarah said is this was for 2 years ago. So then are we only doing this for the employees that were 2 years ago? That was that too lame
Right.
thing? I don't know what year it was.
It is
24, 25?
25, yeah.
employees.
Who were here when?
24,
24,
25.
25.
So I think that's kind of the same. Like if we're doing it like next year, there's surely going to be a handful of people maybe that weren't here this year, but there's how many handfuls that weren't here in 2024, 25, no matter which year we pay on.
And like we're not going to go back. Unfortunately, that if they've moved on and gone somewhere else, we're not going to go and issue them a check. Like that's not. I mean, please do if you want to, but that wasn't the intent of my wording. So if I've spoken that wrong, I'm okay if we go back and change it if that's necessary. But I think what everyone at this table was saying was that yes, this would be for next year's employees.
Story time. So, my husband worked 20 years for Simplot. And when they closed, he went over to McCain and worked there until he died. And at both companies, every year, they got a bonus. And yes, the bonus depended on, some years it was like a really good bonus. And other years it was like maybe a turkey. But still, the idea was there. Teachers don't get bonuses. We're not even allowed to accept gifts that are worth more than $50, which is one Snickers bar today. So, when we go to classes, we all have to pay the tuition for those classes, unless you're an association member and you're taking a class from the Center for Teaching and Learning, and then you get to take that for free. But if you want the college credit, you still have to pay for that. We have to bring our own paper. We have to bring our own coffee cups. We have to bring our own pencils. We have to bring our own pens. we have to provide all our stuff. Plus, we have to drive wherever the class is, and that's wear and tear on our vehicles. Plus, it's the cost of gas nowadays. When my husband worked in those two businesses, he never had to do any of that. They reimbursed him for mileage and gas and wear and tear on the vehicle. He would walk in, they would have piles of materials for them. You take a thing off of each pile, and then you go and sit down, and he'd come home with like a mountain of stuff. The interesting thing is, a lot of times in their classes, the teachers didn't know what they were doing, and so they kind of messed some things up. But, you know, he got bonuses, he got regular raises, he got all the stuff. I think I've gotten rid of like, I don't know how many McCain coffee cups and how many Simplot coffee cups. Teachers get none of that. In fact, it costs us to be a teacher. It didn't cost my husband anything to work at Simplot or McCain's, other than the gas he used to drive, backwards and forwards. But we don't have that. All these people in Minidoka County who are working at the plants, they're getting those kinds of things. I loved Sarah's idea about, if when we use the levy money and we say, hey, we were able to recondition 50 football helmets this year because of this. We do need, that needs to go out on remind every single time. And instead of calling this a bonus, we need to call it a different word. Sarah was right when she said communication is key. Words are my business. That's what you pay me for, is being able to use words well. We need to choose a different word. Something that does not make it sound like we're being handed something we didn't earn or deserve. Because I can't go to my students and say, okay, all of you people who are moving on to the next grade level, you all owe me $50 for the year. Each one of you. Can't do that. I wouldn't have a classroom the next day. Before we had air conditioning at Minico, my classroom would get over 100 degrees. Couldn't ask students, hey, would you take a note home to your parents and tell them to buy me an air conditioner for the window? And then we'll be nice and cool, but everybody else will sweat. We had to wait till 2002 when construction happened, and then we got air conditioning. Just an FYI.
Can I call for a caucus? Like 5 minutes?
5 minutes, Trish?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Excuse me.
Extremely offended. You're so funny. Yeah. You're great.
Oh my goodness,
She's
no.
so funny.
I'm dying.
She cracks me up.
I think I'm having an allergy attack.
Well, I'm having a attack.
Yes, I'm just trying to understand all this. So from what I can see from the numbers I have looked at is that we have budgeted low, which is smart, of course, as far as money coming in from the state. We plan that we're not going to get as much money from the state to make sure that we have enough money. But when I'm looking at 2025 and 2024, the actual revenue that came in was higher than what we budgeted, which means we didn't actually end up with a deficit. Am I incorrect about that?
You said you could call.
You said we could call.
Yes, we did. It's probably supposed to be an O right away. It's a preschool graduation.
Well, those 2 years, I mean,
I thought he said
the 2 years we froze, we didn't have a deficit because we were building up that fund balance, right? So yeah, I think you're right. There wasn't a deficit because we were trying to build up essentially our savings account, right? So now we've got
Exactly.
our savings account, but now we're saying this year we're going to have to dip into our savings account a little, right? So
Which right now is around $7 million.
Hey, we have a question for you.
tell him he's on speaker. Tell him he's on speaker.
Okay, you're on the big speaker as well. Go ahead, Crystal.
Daryl, I'm just wondering when we talk about budgeting for our school year, you always budget low from what I can see. You always budget low with the concern of the money you're going to get from the state in order to support our school district, which is amazing. But from what I can see in 2025 and 2024, the actual revenue that came in from the state was higher than the budgeted amount. Is that correct?
Which piece are we talking? Just general fund budget? Or are we talking all budget?
See, that's the problem.
Because practice has been to
General.
budget with a conservative factor. So when we get our February support units, the administrative team and everybody meets and we decide on a basically appropriate reduction in our support units, what Mr. Larson and those feel is appropriate for that, and then we budget based off of the revenues that would be tied to that. Those reductions are usually tied to the trend lines that we've seen in enrollment or attendance. So the base budget would be built off of that. Revenues would come in accordingly, give or take, however attendance and enrollment truly plays out. So it could go either way. So far this year, we had a 4% reduction in enrollment or attendance. It was our enrollment. Yeah, we had 4% reduction basically. And so we ended up in protection. So we did receive less revenues than we would have budgeted for this fiscal year. In prior fiscal years, we had the opposite, at least in the year of the freeze, because if we had that freeze, that would have given us that momentum to build up a fund balance. I don't know if that answers the question or not.
Yes, it does. Can I check really quick? Is our fund balance right now at around 7 million?
Yes.
Okay.
And Daryl, are we projecting? Because I believe we are a deficit budget again. Correct?
It all depends on where the funding really lies. The issue isn't necessarily of revenues; it's more of the expenditures happening in the time frame. In the last 2 years, we've allowed schools to roll discretionary dollars, and so then there's dollars that are in the budget that don't get spent, and that rolls. But if they are not in the budget, then they'd never be available to be spent, right? If they're not allocated in that fashion. As of right now, if all spending were to stop right now, this instant, we would probably see a small increase of fund balance. but given the summer projects that maintenance department and other departments still have ongoing, it could go either direction.
Which can I just say something? Which if I am correct, the levy was to help with that with the maintenance department, correct? I'm just.
The levy only does a small portion of the maintenance budget. Really, the levy was focused more towards offsetting the athletics was the biggest piece there, covering the SROs. The one piece that it would actually truly help the general fund budget is the $800,000 that was set for the CEP, the food service offset, where we're continually putting money into food service from general fund. The maintenance pieces were pretty small pieces in comparison, and that really is just a small factor of the few things they do.
Thank you, Daryl.
Yep.
Do we need to keep Daryl on the phone?
Hi, Daryl. It's Sarah. I hope you can hear me from over here.
Yep.
It's not necessarily a question, but it's more of just a comment, and maybe you would elaborate on it. I think that we have taken a look at expenses like you were talking about at the end, how much did we end up actually spending? And our district is doing a really good job at looking at, and I'll speak for like applications and stuff, because that's my world with computers and stuff. We've done our due diligence to look at things that we're using, looking at things that we're not using, and getting rid of those expenses that for applications and such that are just not being used. And I think that is smart. We're being responsible with what our expenses are and cutting the things that we don't need. So that way, when we have the budget that we are looking at as being a deficit, and then when the actual receipts come in, it's not as bad as we thought. And it seems like from the 2024 to even our 2025 budget audit, that's kind of what's happened. We've we budgeted, for example, in 2024 at 33.7 million, and in the end, it was only we ended up at 36.8 million. 2025, it was 32.7 million, and then actual, it was 34.8, which is like we've talked about in the room. What's replenishing that fund account? Would that be accurate to say?
Sorry, you cut out a bit on that, but just to make sure I caught most of it.
One time, that's what
just the fact that we would have a budget that we budget low, right? So we budget low. I think one of your numbers was 32 million, somewhere in 32, 34, and then revenues come in 34, 36. Is that kind of the concept?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So that is the thing. We do budget conservatively up front, and then throughout the year we update budget throughout the year. That means that every month or so we're checking for what revenues have come in comparatively to what was budgeted. Also comparably what the state has done, what the revenues come through there. Come February, we get a true up from the state, so we know what our true state dollars would actually be. And so it's that timing is kind of the hard one on that one, because that's the majority of our funding. But we've had instances where we increase some staffing in some areas due to needs. Special education has been an area of that. Hey, we needed more paras. So that's been an increase that's handled and changed throughout the year. We've also had other areas of where we monitor that budget of, hey, we made sure when we budgeted, we squoze to fit within the conservative budgeting, but in reality, the department or the program needs more than that, right? For the standard operations, like a transportation, for example, easily runs at 2.7, almost $3 million. A lot of times we budgeted at 2.2, 2.5, and said, hey, this is as much as fits in the budget right now. If this is where the revenues end up, you'll have to just live with it and function as conservatively as you can.
But as the revenues come in, we can then appropriate it back to those areas that need it for those constant fixed costs that will be happening.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Daryl.
Yep.
Can I add an option C?
Okay, an option.
Option?
Okay, wait a minute. Let me get way up there again. Option. My app, that issue.
Literally the same thing, but change the amount to 850.
Okay, so C right here.
Okay, there's been an option C added. Discussion, comments, another combination.
I'll do a combination of A and C.
A and C.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready to go on to vote? Are we comfortable with that right now, or I'm looking at your faces.
Had a conversation. I don't know if I should. Okay, I'm just gonna so. I don't know if I'm done cutting at my school. Feels really bad. Like when we're talking about like this covers that person's salary. And it's not like it's not in. Yeah, I'm not gonna say all of the things because that's not my place. But I don't. There might be another person going from my school, and it feels really bad to me. Talking about extra money when that person might not have a job next year because who knows? Yeah.
I'm just curious. So like in a normal year, I mean, we're planning for attendance issues and all of that other kind of stuff, kids leaving. That happens every year anyway. I mean, not as many, granted, but it is something that we have to deal with every year anyway. So, no, I guess just
And that's one thing with school district budgets. I mean, we're in May. We have to have this done so that, we can get it out to the public and in time for a June budget hearing and then approval by the board. And then we don't know our true numbers. Those get trued up in February. And so, we're taking a stab at things now, and we won't know until February what our numbers truly are.
May I offer another option? If I can get a wink, Miss Carrie, are you ready? Oh, this. I don't know if this is possible, but it may be. In the way business runs, you can always amend things. And so my thought is this, out of appreciation and respect for the timeline that we have in putting this stuff out there, your budget and whatnot, um, what if we then came back in, you said February? And at that time then introduce this one-time stipend, because then the money is actually realized then. If that's an option, if that's a possibility, that's kind of what I'm throwing out there. Thank you.
Clarification. So are you asking that we just come back and revisit it in February, or just overall in general, or something specific?
I appreciate that. I have got to be careful with this. So when I say revisit it, what I think I want to mean is, if history holds true, where we have been conservative, we've been smart, we have cut costs where we needed to when things were no longer being used. And again, I can only speak about the app side, those types of things that I'm familiar with. We end up with not that great picture, or I don't want to say great. We don't end up as bad as what we planned for, and that's good. That's what we want to have happen. So what I want to say is, in February, if we get to that point, and again, we are not in the rears like we thought we were going to be, then we say, like we did with Minidoka High School, hey, nice job with your ISATs, and you guys did a great thing, and we offer it this pay at that time. I think.
Can we caucus? 7 minutes.
me go down here.
Okay,
Just like
Lauren, did you
return
want to?
653.
You changed. Okay, so all right.
Okay.
Sorry, I was not Tell me again. What am I? You're up. Oh, my apologies. I wasn't sure if you were asking me a question or no. I missed something. Okay, so I would like to throw out an option.
Okay, let me find my little yellow highlighter and stuff.
She got it. You have it in your
I have it in
number.
there you go. Okay. E, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to propose that we reopen negotiations for the purpose of
Wait a minute.
negotiating
Negotiations for the purpose of. Got it.
the one-time stipend following the 2026 budget audit
6 audit.
and February 15th payment.
Somebody's having fun.
Why are they still here? Did they forget one? That's bad. I know
Did
that's
they
bad.
forget one? That was good. Okay, got it. Thank you. Then we do the combinations.
Did you get it?
I got it.
So the reason for my option is this team is concerned about, like, is this going to be, are we going to be in a deficit? Or should we really be paying this money out? So what I'm saying is let's bring this back to a payment in February 2027 once we see what the actual budget ends up being. If history holds true, which we've seen Daryl's report, we had the phone call, it's kind of, we've been responsible with our funds. I feel comfortable saying that that would be a good time to then go back and do this because we've had that happen in 2024, 2025. I am going to feel like 2026 won't be any different. And so that's my option.
Okay. Any more options, combinations?
I have an option.
Oh, okay. Option. Second. F. Okay.
Automatic distribution to all staff if fund balance increases according to the 2026 budget audit
2026 audit. Okay.
just a minute. Okay.
I should have put it higher.
We'll talk about that later.
That was a good one. Is
To
that
be paid out in December.
Is there an amount?
Uh,
7, 6?
yes.
2026.
Okay.
So if the fund balance, I'm sorry, I'm not, no more. Sorry, that's not part of my thing. But I
She's
just
just
wanted to talk.
explaining.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
So
Okay,
she's done
so,
with the. I need clarification on something. I need clarification.
Was
When
there
you,
more?
No.
when you talk about that, are you talking about the 1,000? Are you talking about the 850?
That would
What
be
amount are you
that
talking
would
about?
be when she makes a
Combinations?
combination. Could be.
Could.
I'm not telling her,
Okay.
but
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So it could
That
be
one,
when she
yes.
puts it on there. Okay.
So if the fund balance increases, 90% of that increase will be automatically redistributed evenly across all staff. And that's just me saying that, not as an option. I'm just talking. I don't know what she's got. Right.
Okay. Okay. Just talking.
Is she?
Just talking. She's right. Okay, any others? Any other options? While Lauren's over here. All right, we're going to move on to combinations.
I'd like to propose a combination. I would like A, B, and E, please. E.
A, right?
They're in, oh,
A, B, and E.
That's when I
Reopen
that's when I-
negotiations.
I
Okay.
don't know what
Yeah.
she's or whatever. See.
No, that's not.
Oh, that was hers.
yes, the reopen.
F was when
Am I in the way?
a little
I
bit,
can
but
move.
it's okay.
How about if we can we put it over somewhere else?
I know. I'm trying to. I just like
Make a better door than a window. But,
I would like to put up a combination. A, B, F.
No more conversations. Okay, hang on. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Are we ready to move to the next step? I don't want to rush you, but I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page to move forward. I'm going to take that as a yes
Let's get it going.
because
Let's
nobody's
just do it.
talking.
Let's just do it.
Come on, you guys.
Let's do it.
We are going to vote if that's okay with everybody. Ready? All right, Lauren. Let's do it. Let's read.
So number one is A plus B, so that's move all employees to their next qualified step. And B is issue a one-time stipend to all employees in appreciation for their time here. It would be an across-the-board stipend of $1,000.
Okay, let's vote.
So just real quickly, even though these say all employees, recall we're negotiating for teachers.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Sorry. So we negotiate for certificated staff, but we want to show our appreciation for all employees.
No, and I understand that, and I think the whole group up here would want that as well. But the negotiations are for the certificated staff.
Salary, because we negotiate benefits for
The
all employees.
for the certificated staff.
We negotiate only for teachers.
Certificated teachers.
The board,
Certificated staff.
previous boards in districts, the current board, they have always felt that if we're doing something for one group, we should do it for all, but that would have to go to the board for approval.
So guide me, sir. I would love to show appreciation for every employee, from my custodian to our secretaries to our groundskeepers. Like, Tell me what I need to say to make that happen.
Nothing you can
Nothing.
say right now will make that happen. Be-
Right.
You good?
But thank you. But thank you,
Yes.
Sarah. That's nice. Thank you.
So
Yes.
Appreciate it.
clarification or a question, historically, what has our board done?
They have done bonuses for other staff as well.
Okay, thank you.
During COVID, we reopened negotiations when we got extra money from the federal government. And, you know, again, we can only negotiate for teachers. And, but then it went to the board, and the board decided that they would be part of that, that everyone would be part of that because everyone had gone through COVID sort of together.
And not just bonuses too. I mean, if raises and salary are negotiated, the board has always tried to give raises to everyone.
All hands on deck. We do this
Yeah.
together. Yeah. That's what I want to see happen for our district. That was not it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Mine's already read option or combinations A and B, so I believe we vote. Okay, let's vote.
Okay, hang on.
Okay, I got
Spence,
Ashley,
Josh,
Josh, Mr. Larson. Okay,
Okay. Explain.
you got it. Okay, Mr. Larson.
You know, when we caucused, it comes back to the same couple things. Well, yeah, yes, possibly a deficit budget, but we won't know that. But even bigger than that is we just cut staff, and we don't feel that is a good look. We just had to go out and levy money and saying we need this money for this. Otherwise, you know, we won't be able to operate. And so then giving bonuses this isn't the right time.
Angela.
Just a second. Okay, Angela.
The same as what he has to say, but I also lost my counselor, which is a very, very critical piece of my building. And to me, that money would be much more valuable to our students if I had that.
Tamara.
I agree. I think the staffing piece of it.
Josh.
My dad used to tell me like my behavior in thick times would be the way that I lived in thin times, and we're somewhere in the middle right now. And I've been in education long enough to have been through the thick and the thin, and it's really hard during the thin times because our behavior really, and I can't in good conscience that we just let people go. I can't in good conscience vote for when like I don't know what's coming, and it might be worse. And so, yeah.
Ashley.
The same thing.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I'm ready.
And we move on to combination 2.
It's just A,
Okay.
so that's moving all employees to their next qualified step.
All right. Let's vote. Trish, yeah, you could do that.
Okay, wait a minute. I got to get this on camera.
Yeah. Now, does that mean
It's okay. They can
okay?
live with
So,
it. It passed.
number 2 passed.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's vote on number 3, B.
Which is issue a one-time stipend to all employees in appreciation for their time here, across the board stipend $1,000.
Let's vote. Okay. Okay.
Oh, wait, let's
Just
see.
hold on.
Only Krista and Mari and Nicole. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to go around the table. I'm going to try to remember.
Spencer.
Okay. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Larson.
The same reasons I gave for the other staffing and the levy.
Okay. Trish.
So it may just be the way I'm reading it, but that would make sure that we didn't move to step 2 is just that B, right?
You wouldn't get the step.
Okay,
Okay.
And you
All right.
voted no, right?
I
Trish?
voted no.
Okay.
Angela, did you? I'm trying to remember. Okay.
Same as before.
All right. You got it.
Step wouldn't
Tamara,
step.
did you have a comment with your then? Oh,
Same one.
okay. All right.
Same as before.
Okay.
You can leave it out for me.
And Sarah?
I voted no because I appreciated the offering of the move all employees to the next qualified step. And so that piece is missing from option 3. So
Yeah. Okay. Ashley? I think
Same reasons before the staffing.
okay. Thanks, you guys. All right, let's move on to combination 4.
4 is A and C, so we have move all employees to their next qualified step. And C is essentially the same as B, about the one-time stipend, except it lowers the dollar amount to $850.
Okay, let's vote. That's a tough.
Hang on.
Okay,
Just a sec.
I'm looking too.
Yeah. Got it.
Gotta remember.
Okay. Spencer.
Okay, I'm gonna start. I might as well just start in the same order.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't mix me up, please. Don't mix me up. Yeah, just he did.
It is the same reason.
Ditto.
Same.
Okay, same.
All the
Same.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let's move on to number 5.
A plus B plus E, so moving all employees to their next qualified step. Issue the one-time stipend, $1,000, and E is reopen negotiations after the 26 budget or audit has come in and after the February 15th payment.
Okay, ready? Let's vote.
As I predicted. Okay, got it.
You got it?
I've got it.
All right.
I've got it.
Go ahead, Miss. Same.
Same. Got it.
We're all agreed. Yes, sir.
Oh wait, I voted in favor. Never mind. Sorry.
I know. I'm like going. Wait a minute. You got it. You're keeping me on my toes, aren't you? Okay. And now we're ready for 6. Are we? Okay.
A plus B again, and then F, which is the automatic distribution. If the fund balance shows growth after the 26th audit, and the 90% of it being redistributed. I think the idea behind that was like, 10% gets saved and kind of like you teach your kids how to budget.
Okay. Let's vote. Do it. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, gotcha.
It's just me. My guess is the discussion on House Bill 516 might take a while.
Yeah.
And I don't think we would have time for that.
Okay.
I would like, I mean, I don't think there's really a discussion on lawfulness. That was just a reminder, hey, we need to make sure we're following
Mm-hmm.
that. And I will make a comment on the sick leave bank. I know, Maren, you had made at the very beginning of the meeting, hey, we can't negotiate this because policy. Yes, in general, our position is we don't want to negotiate away the board's rights. There are things, though, policies, the mechanism in which we administrate certain things. And something like the sick leave bank or sick leave in general or things like that sometimes are considered negotiated items because there is compensation that can be tied to those things. And so just I'm throwing that up there that perhaps that is something that could, just because it's policy is not the reason.
Okay.
And so if we did want to discuss that, then
Okay.
that'd be okay.
So do we want to just set up our next meeting and then call it good?
I'm curious though, I'm curious, I hadn't really, the only thing I've read is what's on Idaho Ed News. I downloaded it today so I could read it. Can we begin the discussion and not we don't have to solve it, but
Give me some things to go back and research.
yeah, so I can think of I don't,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, on House Bill? Oh,
On
okay.
House Bill or
No.
sick leave?
I was thinking, well, I don't care which one, but
I thought you meant sick leave bank.
well, either
That was
one.
yours.
Yeah.
I think you.
So which one?
I was talking the House
Are we
bill.
talking the House Bill? Okay.
So
Okay.
which one is it? House
I was,
Bill?
yes, House
Okay.
bill.
All right.
Is the team agreeing to do that?
Are we stopping at 7:25?
Well, it's
So we have
7:14.
So we have 5 minutes to decide our next meeting.
Yeah.
So we have 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to keep going?
Do you want?
So we're going to keep going.
His was a motion for another 10 minutes, and then we have time to decide the next meeting date.
So you want to go to 7:40?
No, 7:25.
7:25. Okay. Got it. Thanks, Josh.
So a motion
Okay.
was made. Do we need to?
Oh.
Second.
Second.
Oh,
Okay.
Who's second?
Maren.
Okay.
And how do you guys feel? I need to see your thumbs. You're okay to discuss it for 10 minutes, okay? So we're going to discuss House Bill 516 for 10 minutes.
Point of personal privilege.
I don't think that's
It is a thing.
It is a thing. Yes, it is.
I just want to say, last night we were very excited about the agreement that we came to with the 6 days of leave, paid leave, and we clapped. And even though my option B didn't come through tonight, I think we've done a great job for our people to agree on the qualified steps. So I just want to say thank you to everyone here tonight.
That's all. Okay. So
You gave me the look, so I'm going to assume that I'm going to start talking about that.
You can start. There's a lot to unpack.
Yes, there is. And we won't get it all unpacked tonight, not even close. House Bill 516 is the bill that the governor signed that really limits how the association and the school district work together. And we actually have a number of pieces of that already in our master agreement. They're just need to be tweaked a little bit, some of them. So some of the things that we will need to discuss, we'll need to discuss what in duty means and what will be the hours for in duty. Because there's, things that go, money that goes along with what we do in duty and not things outside that. This is, I think that when I first went through it, I was a little, you know, leery. I was a lot of things, and then I went to I tuned into a town hall, and I felt a lot better after that because the leaders of IEA, the lawyers, made an important point that we're probably maybe not as aware of, and that is that this doesn't just affect the association, this is going to affect all the teachers and all the administrators. And that's maybe something people were counting on, of having to kind of master this before we start school so we don't inadvertently do something wrong. Because according to the bill, if you inadvertently do something that is forbidden, it's only a $250 fine. If you do something on purpose that is forbidden, then we're talking over $1,000. And then if you do it again, it's over $2,000. And that could be hit on. It could be hit on the association. It could be hit on the administrators. Both. It's it it's an interesting money grab, is what I think. Um, so that will be things that we have to talk about, of how we're going to sort of organize that. Um, Things like representation, and particularly if it's a grievance, or if a principal, for example, needs to sit down and talk with the teacher about maybe some behaviors that are not conducive to teaching. And they want an association person to come in and maybe take notes. And okay, that's fine after 4:20. So, for our administrators, that's going to mean you're getting home later at night, because some of those that I've sat in on really do take a while. And that's when I'm not even talking. That's just when I'm taking notes. So that gets to be a little rough, I think. Um, so we have to consider that. We have to consider the monetary aspects of, okay, who's going to pay what when. The school district would have to do billing for certain things at least twice a year, preferably every month. That's an extra thing for them to do, to get the bills out. And then, for example, if one went to the association, we would have a month to get that paid back. So then what happens if we miss that deadline? You know, there are a lot of deadlines involved in this, and they're not ones that are really very flexible. It's, you will do it by this month, or you will do it by this date. And, so you're kind of left with, okay, but maybe we're not in school at that point in time. Or maybe it's when we're running new officers. What's the situation? Um, there's so much. And the more I go back and reread the information, the more I realize how there's we're going to have to hit the ground running with this. And we we have some model language. So ISBA actually approached IEA to work together on this, and that I liked that. That okay, we're one big group, you know, and we want to keep everybody sort of free and clear of disaster. So we can work together to accomplish our goals, and which is not to get fined.
And I think we want to make sure that we're all current with the Idaho law. We're all, this is new to us, just like it's new to everybody else. We want to make sure that we're you know, have clear expectations and we're just doing what I guess what we need to do to just, you know, reduce that confusion and I don't know, and that.
We do have a model statement that it operates the same way as the one they put in with the Luna laws, which was if this is found to be unconstitutional, everything goes back to the way it was. And so we have that statement already. And when we come back, I'll have copies for everyone of that so that you can see what that statement actually is, because I think that's going to be a really important thing. I think because it doesn't go into effect until July 1st, I think it's going to be this next year, especially the first 4 months of the school year. That's where we're going to start seeing, maybe some other districts not playing the game right, and then the lawsuits will start. So there might be at some point in the future, um, there might be a time when either the it's found unconstitutional or something else that means that we're getting rid of it, just like with the Luna laws.
If I may, I
Yes.
probably won't be at this table next time. So I wrote this big old long thing, but I'm not going to read it, y'all. It's there. Did you say great, Carrie?
I can't type that fast.
Okay, what I wanted to say is this. I am the professional that I am today because of my association, because of the multiple professional associations that I belong to. When I started off in college, I was told over and over and over by my professors, you need to be a member of your professional associations. That is the Idaho Business Education Association, that is the Western Business Education Association, that is the Idaho Business Education for Idaho Bilingual Education Association, Career Technical Educators of Idaho. I mean, I'm getting nervous because I'm trying to do the 1 minute thing. But here's the thing. My association, my school district, they have worked in tandem for all of my career to allow me these opportunities to go and be a part of these associations and do the work of my colleagues, bring it back and tell them, hey guys, this is what we're doing. Take it to Ohio and say, this is what Idaho's doing, and have everyone go, holy cow, Idaho is like trailblazing when it comes to career and technical education. I have that because there has always been a relationship. And I hope, because of what you said, we already have many of those pieces in our master agreement, that we can work together moving forward to just finesse the pieces to work within what the law has said has to happen. We all know, we've been talking about this from since we started, that communication is a big issue. Like, people don't understand how money gets to be spent. They don't understand what the association truly is. There's comments about it being done during class time, and that's true. But we are professionals and we are not abusing this. We are supporting and we are lifting each other up. Again, I want to just remind everyone at this table that the association has done lots of great things for me as a member. I then in turn have supported my colleagues, and I know. Are you doing the 1 minute? Sorry.
I want to go.
It is.
Okay.
It
I want
is
to turn.
7:26. But
I
yes.
want to say the Center for Teaching and Learning offers professional development that I myself have taken advantage of. That didn't cost my district a dime. They bring in quality instructors, and they provide that to make me be a better educator. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so I got. Can I go, please? I lied with me. I'm sorry. Okay. So my experience with the association has always been a positive one. You guys like fight for teachers. I'm like. Sometimes it feels as though we're adversarial, and that is not true. It is never true. It was done. The law was passed and done to all of us. And so, like, if you read the Idaho Ed News things, if you read any of that, like, educators on both sides of the table are like, this is a dumb idea. This is a dumb idea, but it's done. And so now we just got to figure out how to put that into policy and make it so that we are functional as a group, and I don't want to find, you don't want to find, you don't want to find, you don't want to find, and none of you want to find. So like really, there's no. I was not the one that did this. Would never do this. It's awful. So, anyways,
And I just have to say this and we can be done. Don't think this is going to drag out, I think, forever. I know the IEA and the ISB have worked together to, I don't know, maybe make recommendations to help us. And I think with our master agreement and stuff, maybe it will just take a few tweaks. Because I think we have a great one already. So I don't think that this is going to drag out forever. So don't stress about it. That's it.
Can I add one final thing? This bill could make it so that the students are affected as well, because we use the children's fund. Like I've used it personally to buy glasses for students, and so it could affect the kids too.
a personal point of interest is like, is the association like is there a law thing going on? So like it feels a little targeted.
A law thing? What do you mean?
They're fighting that it's legal. Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying? Like you're saying, if it comes out that it's not constitutional, are they?
Right.
Or is that already in the works?
No, it can't be until
They're a damaged party.
And lawsuits.
They challenge it.
Yeah,
next year,
right.
teachers come back before we know what's going to happen, and it would kind of depend. Like, does the state want to like come down like Thor's hammer right from the start, or are they going to do the more grandma slap on the wrist of it's okay, you made this mistake once, don't do it again. We won't know till next year.
Okay. It's 7:29, you guys. Let's
Make a motion for
make.
adjournment.
We need to make a.
Motion for adjournment.
But wait a minute. Don't we have to make? We have to decide our next meeting, Carrie.
Darn it! I forgot about
I know.
that.
I know you're trying. I know you're trying. Okay. We need to look at our
What day?
calendars.
I don't know.
Then we make a. Then somebody makes a motion for that date. Correct?
Date and time.
Okay.
Is anyone opposed to me going and grabbing my phone? Okay.
What do we have?
As you said.
Okay. So
You just put it up.
The door's locked.
Oh, I can get you in.
we're looking at the best week of the year next week. I think it's the best
Oh,
week of
thank
any
God.
school year.
Let me see what we got going. Hang on.
Are you volunteering to come help at the school next week?
Yeah. Why? What do you want me to do?
Just come enjoy the fun. It's the best.
I could go to her school. I have vested interest.
We have a meeting with Randy at 4. We have interviews on Wednesday. Thursday's the only free day for you.
Brandy would have to be here too, so we have to cut it to keep
Did
it
you
for half an
talk
hour.
to me afterwards?
Yeah. Why'd it go? Why'd it do that? So I usually do it Tuesday.
Depending, I mean, I don't want to speak because we haven't negotiated anything, but as long as the fiscal stuff is done, Daryl can build the budget. We can get that in the paper. I don't know what kind of fiscal impact House Bill 516 or our discussions are going to have. I would think they would be fairly limited, and we're just saying, hey, what can we agree on, in language and things like that. The other stuff, again, the sick leave bank, I don't know about a fiscal impact there. But we know the step now is things like that. I mean, Daryl can get the budget, you can get it submitted. So, beyond that,
And when does that need to?
really the end of this month.
Okay.
Because you have to have 2 weeks to post it.
Yeah, we have to post it in the paper for 2 weeks.
The board meeting is the
and,
15th.
Board meeting's the 15th of June.
That part's done. We don't have to talk about that anymore, right?
Oh, I don't think so.
Well,
Not according to my minutes.
Okay, does anybody have a date?
Next week, like after school again, we got Tuesday, we got Wednesday.
We got Thursday. We got Friday.
Graduation.
Yeah, Thursday's
Thursday's a tough day for
And
me as well.
Harrison is
Wednesday.
Yeah, so
So Tuesday.
Tuesday or Friday.
No.
Not
Yeah.
Friday.
And I can't Friday. I think I'm in town for graduation. So
Okay, so it's Tuesday. Does it look like
Tuesday the
Tuesday?
26th.
Same
Oh.
time.
26.
I come
Am
with
I
more
right?
tattoos.
Isn't that
No
the
laughing.
26th? Am I wrong?
You want to go 4:30 or 5?
I think 4:30.
4:30?
And what day is that? The
It's Tuesday
Tuesday the 26th.
26th.
Right?
Gosh,
at
that
4:30.
seems like that was going to be my hair day. I got to change it now.
Okay, so all right, you guys, we need a motion for this next
Motion
date.
Make a motion to
approve.
approve
Presented date.
the presented date of Tuesday the 26th at 4:30.
I need a second.
I'll second. Okay, so
Okay, we
Whoever
have.
you want.
I don't care who you choose.
okay, just let me get down first.
Before we vote,
Yes. Okay.
and I don't get to vote. I'm not a voting
Okay.
party, am I?
No.
Okay. All
Motion
right,
to
please
adjourn.
vote.
Oh,
Okay.
We're voting on the date.
On the date.
Yes, we are.
The 26th at 4:30. Yes.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Josh, Spencer. Okay.
Voted to adjourn, and we are now adjourned. Thank you.
so
Wednesday,
Yeah,
now, if you
I can't amend it. Wednesday's no good? No, Wednesday's fine. Oh, then I move that we change the date to Wednesday, the 27th at 4:30.
27th.
But he's got his hand up. Oh.
Oh,
He's just scratching.
Okay, so can
I thought
everybody
you had a
vote if
question.
Wednesday's okay? Yes? Okay, got it. We'll just put the,
Which
okay, we're just
graduation?
gonna have
Didn't they
fun.
say
We'll just, yeah, we'll just need some substitutes.
So is it Wednesday the 27th at 4:30
Yes,
here at this same place?
yes.
All right.
20.
Whew, glad he said that before you,
So,
Maggie can maybe come though, because Maggie
Yeah.
wasn't able to, so I think. That's the last day the kids will be in
School.
Or Kim,
Yeah.
Kim could come up.
Early graduation, they don't have an air conditioner in that gym.
They graduate inside, they don't do that.
They only take it. Yeah, they get 50. So
Yeah,
we're just 7 tickets.